I hung out, but I was helping out with our D now this weekend at our church.
Uh-huh.
So I was hanging around teenagers all weekend, barely getting sleep.
Okay. I
Like,
guess yeah. So you had it rough too. You had it rough too.
yeah, I like at Sunday after church. I was like, because usually you go to my other family's house, and they're like,
Hmm.
my broken legs are like, "You gonna go get some sleep?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Yeah, I figured you want to sleep in your bed after 3 days." I was like, "Yeah."
Dude.
Like, dude, especially that night, like I only got an hour of sleep because these
Ah,
kids are just up. I was like, bro, come on.
dude, kids don't need sleep, bro. Kids don't need sleep.
It's dying. Like I went to McDonald's. I inadvertently tried new the new chicken mac.
I saw that thing, dude. I was like, that thing
I
is it
tried it,
is it
but
for
not
real?
intentionally. Because I had ordered, I was just ordered 20-piece nugget on the app because I was just gonna eat something to drive home, and
Yeah.
like I get there, pull up, give them my number, get the order, and I looked, and it was like somebody else had ordered two uh mac the big chicken macs. I kind of sat there for a minute. I was like, do I really want to go through this process of being like, hey, this is not my order? Because I was just dead and I just wanted to get home and sleep. I was like, I'll take it. I don't care right now.
Yeah,
Like, I just want to go home.
that's how you know you're tired, bro. You just
Yeah.
like, would you order? Fish fillet? All right,
Hey,
I'm
here's a
out.
Big Mac.
Get it. Give it to you.
Okay.
I don't even I'm allergic. I'm allergic to Big Macs. Get
Yeah. I mean, I, I don't know.
was it all right though? So wait, you had the chicken mac then?
Yeah.
And was it all right? Like this ain't a food
Nah.
podcast,
This ain't a
but
food podcast, but
I don't know, man. Like
it's
it's a lot to
a
suspend
lot.
to believe because
And
I
this
mean, I don't,
movie was a lot to you.
dude. Okay, all right, Joe. Angel, we talk about. Did you know anything? Okay, you know what? Let's start the podcast so we can start
Yeah,
talking about
let's
this.
wait for the podcast. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1.
I saw myself in the mirror with a sad look. Then I saw him run screaming. It smiled back at me.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Anime Media Podcast. It's me, Joe Angel, with my co host Sal, and we have made it to the last week of spooky season, guys.
I'm
Woo.
scared. I'm
Skrr.
scared, Joe
And even
Bangles.
though it's not the 31st yet this year, it's only, let's see, today's the 28th.
Oh, you
3
can
days.
let him in. You can let him in on what day it actually is. Don't tell him.
Halloween's on a Thursday
Suspension.
this year, guys. Sorry. But we came out with the Halloween special early.
By the way,
Just so you could have it in time for Halloween, you know? You can listen to
Anime
it the
Me,
day it airs and listen to it on Halloween.
Anime Me is a podcast where we show you anime. Wait, no, let me cut that out, Joe Angel.
Cut
Okay,
it out.
don't cut it out. Here you go. Let me so Anime Me is a podcast where we dang it, what is Anime Me, dude? Anime
Anime
Me is
podcast.
where Anime Me is where
It's a
we show, oh my gosh, is a podcast where we show you anime.
one episode at a time.
No, this
movie's getting to you guys. It's getting to you, man.
It's scrambled my brain. That's the problem. Okay,
You
so
don't know if
let's
it's
just
real or
say
not, man.
I don't know what real is. I don't know what words are. Dude.
Uh,
And also, Anime Me is a podcast where we show you an anime and then we get canceled for watching and talking about it. This is it. Go ahead.
This is the
Peace
one.
out. Peace out.
This is it.
2024. Spooktober. We're done. Call
We're
the
done with
cops.
this one. And what's gonna end us, guys? Perfect Blue is gonna end us.
Perfect Blue. Dude, did you have any idea? Did someone recommend this and you were like, hey, all right, we'll go ahead and watch it? Or did you know,
I've
like,
heard about it just through like forums and stuff, and like just through like
okay,
watching like YouTube channels of like, you know, oh hey, these are like the top whatever scary anime movies or horror or whatever, and I've always seen that up there on those lists, and I understand why.
at any moment, did you go, I don't know, we should do this anime. I don't know, we should do this movie for this podcast.
I was trying to
like,
figure out if my play button kept skipping back at some point, so I was like, is this just replaying the same scene?
I'm wondering. I was like, I don't know if I got the right movie. I have like probably like 45 minutes into it, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I got the right movie. This ain't it. And I like looked and I paused it. By the way, I had to buy this movie. Not buy it. I had to rent this movie. I had to
Same
spend
here.
money on this movie, Joe Bangs. You're in for one. I don't know how we're gonna talk about this movie without like, you could probably bleep me the whole time. It's fine.
It's gonna
I'll
be
say the
the
things.
bleeps.
Just bleep.
Just
This
bleeps
is
and
all
bleeps.
bleeps and bleeps and blurps. Dude. Okay, you know what? I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna have to really think about this, choose my words wisely.
Yeah.
But let me gosh, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. Woo!
Woo, man.
All right, let's see if I can read my synopsis, and that's where we'll start, and we'll try to I'll try to figure out how we can dance around what we just watched.
It's gonna be like heart surgery. You're gonna have to go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go like, real slow, very careful. Don't nick anything that you're not supposed to, so we don't bleed out in this anime podcast.
It's like Operation Can't Hit the Sides.
Don't yeah, no buzzwords. All right, let's see. Synopsis for Perfect Blue. Here we go. Pop star Mima quits singing to pursue acting, but her fans aren't ready to see her go. When she accepts a role on a TV show, her handlers begin turning up murdered. Mima's reality and fantasy meld into a frenzied paranoia as her stalker closes in. That's as good as I can read it. This looks like stalker writing. So
It looks like.
I mean, you know what this movie did for me was like made me as confused as the main character is confused. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, right, Mima, what's going on? Mima?
What's going on?
Like, I don't know. What's going on? I don't know.
It's like a super scary door. She's asking you what's going on, and you're asking her,
Yeah.
what's going on?
She's like, do you see the murderer? Is that a stalker? And I'm like, it's right there,
It's right there, girl.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna. We can't talk about this. We only have a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got
we're gonna hit
at least
certain pinpoints.
I have 5 hours of notes right here, but I'm gonna give us maybe 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one question. How often do you need to feed fish? How often are you feeding fish? You have any idea?
I feel like it's not that often.
She comes home and she's like, I forgot to feed you yesterday. And I was like, hey, girl, this is like, You got like 15, 20 fish in that tank.
Yeah. How do you forget?
Though
Like
I don't
I
know
don't
though.
think
So
it's
I'm like,
I don't think it's often. I mean, I'm trying to remember.
they're
I
they're
think I've only
they're
owned like
small.
2 fish in my life, and that was when I was younger.
Yeah,
Like,
you got it at the fair. It came
yeah,
in a plastic bag. It doesn't eat, there's no air in that bag. How does it live? I don't
got it at the
know.
fair,
Like,
or when Walmart used to have the aquarium in the way back.
oh,
Do you remember
dude,
that?
hey,
Yeah.
y'all don't know about no Walmart aquarium in that section. It smelled so
That was
terrible.
the that was the equivalent of we got SeaWorld at home.
Yeah,
It's the
it
aquarium
is.
at Walmart.
It is. You'd be like, ooh, I want that blue one.
Yeah,
And they're all the same fish. Somebody's
they're
just
all the
taking
same
them out and
fish.
spray painting
Yeah.
them. They're like, you want an orange one? Here you go. Here's the
Here you go.
one. Oh man, so did you watch this in dub or sub?
I watched it in sub. I know it's dubbed, but when I got it, because
You
I rented it from YouTube, and it just gave me
okay.
the subbed one. I don't know if that's because YouTube knows I like watching stuff in Japanese, so it's just like, oh, he's a sub watcher. He's not gonna watch this dub. He ain't
Yo,
about that.
I wonder. Here,
Did
let me
you
go
watch it in
back.
dub?
I watched it in dub, but Joe Angel. Okay, so I wrote this synopsis down. I straight
Yeah,
up copied it right off the thing.
yeah,
But this is the first time I've ever seen this on a synopsis. Read the synopsis. Near the end of it, there's like another like 2 or 3 lines. I left it
yeah,
out of here because it's not technically part of the synopsis. It says something about the director. It's like
yeah,
this is his debut film.
yeah,
Also, it's extremely violent and
yeah.
it's also very, like so. Make sure
Yeah.
there's a warning on it. It's like this is
Warning label.
this is. There was a warning label in the synopsis. I'm like, and also said this is the unedited, unrated. Like this is. So I'm wondering if you watched the same thing I watched.
I
Like
like I said, I really
how?
don't read the synopsis. I just like
But
guess
but
that's
what-
what.
but I'm saying like, was it graphic? Was it like
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it
like
was graphic. All
okay
right.
okay so yeah. By the way, let's go ahead and put this at the top of the show.
Oh yeah,
This is graphic,
this is super
rated
graphic. Don't
R.
watch this unless you're 55 years old.
Yeah, I'm too young for this.
It's
I'm
still
too young. This is the
good.
first time.
Yeah,
The first time ever. I'm too young for this movie. It's like
dude. Yeah. Oh man.
let's see here. So you missed out on the dub because there's some stuff that happens on the dub that's like kind of hilarious. I like flip back and forth. I was
Yeah,
watching the very beginning of it and they're putting on a concert and there's like
yeah,
people walking in the streets and this guy's holding like this magazine and he delivers the most like how I read the synopsis and it's
yeah,
like terribly read. That's
yeah.
how he's doing his lines. He's like, but then I go back, I'm like, there's no way this is the way this guy's delivering these lines. He's just like, there's only 3 left here. This is the last show. List, and I'm like, yo, this guy is doing the least. You know how people are doing the most these days.
It's the Elon robot reading the line.
It is no emotions. No emotions. I had to go back, but so I went back and rewound it for like 10 seconds to listen to him deliver it in the
Yeah,
Japanese. And he doesn't deliver it in the Japanese. It's just read.
yeah,
Somebody they decided to like because they're not gonna put captions
yeah,
on what you're looking at, like the magazine. So
yeah,
he's reading out what's on the magazine for us in
yeah.
English. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like,
Yeah,
what are they
like
doing?
I'll usually all of the subs in like when it comes to like news articles or something in like the paper or they have a magazine or something with the title, they just show the subtext. They don't actually
Yeah,
have
yeah,
somebody read it.
yeah. So this one they decided to read it because they didn't. This is the show. This movie is so old school. They were like, they didn't hadn't figured that out yet. Like,
Yeah,
how are we gonna do this? Like, just have somebody have Earl who's doing the editing
yeah.
back there. He'll just read it. He'll read it
They
later.
yeah, they just have like they got the script of like, oh,
Not
we're gonna read every single word in this line. This
yeah, not
look left. Oh, hi, how are you doing? Look down. Oh, hey,
yeah.
what is this?
Enters from stage left. Like
Yeah.
it's just It's no, not a voice actor, just a regular old
Just
dude,
a regular guy.
straight up off the street. The other thing you missed in the dub is she's on the phone. Mima's on the phone with her mom, which we never see her mom, do we?
Yeah.
No, we don't. She's on the phone with her mom, and she's telling her about how she's gonna quit music and she's gonna start acting. And her mom has the most hilarious accent. She's like, we know we're in Japan. And
Yeah.
her mom is apparently from Texas because she's got the most country accent.
Out in the
She's like,
sticks.
yeah, she's from the sticks. I'm like, what is this country accent, dude? Like they ain't even trying on the dub. They ain't even trying on the dub, dude. They just like called up Reba McEntire, sent her the line. She goes, "Hey, I got you." She says some stuff in there. I was just like, dude, this is taking me out. Thankfully, they don't talk to her a whole lot.
Nah.
Let's see here. I wrote some stuff down. This is if I were Siskel and Ebert and I gave this a review. And I wrote down, I was disturbed. I was confused. I'm invested. I'm enthralled. I'm disturbed. I'm confused. And then put my name under it. The New York Times,
Yeah.
written by Sal.
Works out.
Dude. Wild.
I'm telling you, man. Like, just this first, like, intro part where, because I don't know if you know, so idols are kind of like a big thing in Japan. Like, music groups and stuff like all that. It's kind of a big, like, culture in Japan. So they actually do go like do live performances and have like all that stuff with the fans and everything, and so that's like kind of a normal thing in Japan. And so this is part of like the scariness of society of people. It's like on
Yeah.
that level of scary.
You feel that, like you're like it's based you could really feel it based on some stuff that you go, this is like, this could happen, like this is real. Like we already see some people do you know anything about Chappelle Roan? Chapel Roan. She's a musician, she's a singer. She's kind of like making waves a little bit because she is like kind of bringing to the forefront the idea of like, and it's in the zeitgeist right now. This what's happening right now with like, people and their mental health. Like, like take for instance, Simone Biles has the same thing where she has this like. She wants to take care of her mental health. We saw it in the Olympics too, where people are talking about a lot like, I need to take care of myself. I need to I need to honor myself. I need to give myself time. What is it that and so Chapel Roan is like kind of brought to the forefront, like what do I owe the general public, my fans? Like, do I need at my own, at my own expense, do I need to like put on this show even though I'm having like extreme anxiety? Like, or do I need to like sign these autographs and give hugs and kisses whenever I just can't do it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of interesting, this whole, like, but this is, you can tell this is old school, right? This movie is, what year is this movie?
It's about, I would say,
I want to say it's like the 70s.
90s.
Is it 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably in the 90s. Okay. So you kind of like feel this kind of old school, vibe to it, like this kind of feel of like there are no boundaries, the same thing for like, paparazzi, no boundaries, and it still happens, like
it still happens.
People getting too close, kind of invasion of privacy. There is a part in here where she like heads home and she's like, she reads a letter when she first is like, I'm going to quit singing and I'm going to start acting. And she reads the letter and she kind of like real nonchalant. She goes, I enjoy looking at her in her room. And she's like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah. It's like kind of nonchalantly.
That's
kind of a weird thing to say. Yeah. And then like it gets into the whole thing of not only society is scary, but the internet is scary.
Oh yeah, I love that
Because
when they
she
start talking about
finds out
that.
that because it also has a link in that letter to what
Hmm.
Mima's room is, and like she goes to one of her handlers. It's like, hey, what do you think this means? Like, oh, it's probably like a chat room, like probably
Yeah.
or like what nowadays would be like a subreddit or Discord chat, you know, the equivalent of that today in this movie. And so, by the way, when we get to that scene, if you need to know how to work a computer or the internet, you could watch this section of it because they explain it bit by bit of how everything works.
Meticulous, dude. They like, I don't know if Wikipedia
this
existed back then, but
this
they just
is the
like copy and
worldwide.
paste it.
This is your web browser.
Yeah,
You click it twice to open.
yeah, yeah.
This is
I was taking
you.
notes.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm learning how to use the internet.
Hey, we're surfing the net, guys.
Yeah, but you can tell how old
Man.
it is by the computer she has.
Oh, dude.
She got
And
that
the
fat
fact that
back, dog.
she got that fat back, she got that big back computer. She has a fax machine like straight up like
Oh yeah,
in the room,
I
like it's
forgot about
like,
that part.
dude, I was like, it made me think though. I was like, did people actually have like fax machines? Like, I don't think I was
Yeah,
ever. I always thought of them like designated for office areas. You know,
yeah.
like I remember going to like an office area, like at
My
a,
grandpa had one. I remember my
did he
grandpa
have one
having a fax machine. Yeah,
in the
at
house?
the
In the
house. Yeah,
house.
yeah, that at the
Yeah.
house.
Okay, okay. So that's based on real life, then that's
Yeah.
based on real life. But there's a let me jump ahead like 15 let me jump ahead 45 minutes later. There's a person being straight up stabbed, and I was like,
Yeah,
being unalived.
yeah.
And then he goes to the fax machine. I was like, if this man sends a
Tries to send a
fax to not
fax.
to 911, you ain't gonna make it.
You ain't gonna
Okay?
make it.
You ain't gonna make it. Okay. That's like way into the future of this movie. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, I don't know how much we want to talk about some of this stuff. But okay, so she becomes an actress and she
Yeah.
takes on a role that demands some questionable ethical
Yeah,
moral
yeah,
oof.
that's later in her acting career. Because like it's that
Yes.
whole thing of like, okay, this is like somebody who's been like a idol or a musician, and like they're kind of like, oh, kind of done with it, or I kind of want to take a break and go pursue something else. So they're trying to become an actor. They have her agents, her handlers, like her, going through. All right, here's the script, and of course, first time you got one scene, one line, and then of course after that they're trying to get buddy buddy, with the staff, the writer, director. Hey, my our girl's pretty good. You should use her more. Come up with stuff. Which, by the way, we go into the next scene that this writer has like. It's just writing the show as it goes because him and the director are talking like. Director's like, so how you gonna like? How you gonna come up with the
How
killer?
you gonna
Like, have you
yeah,
come up with anything? And he's like,
like
oh, don't worry. Yeah, I got it. He's like, I got it. Need you just don't worry. It's just like, bro, wait, what kind of show is this right now? Because it sounds like
dude,
it's
he's
not
just
even worth it.
dude, honestly, he's like during the commercial breaks, he's like, all right, let's think about this. So come on, dude. You ain't got a script.
Yeah, you
You
got
just
it.
like making it up on the
As he goes,
on just
bro. As
I
he
mean,
goes.
uh yeah, so she's like trying to it feels so grounded in reality because you kind of feel
Yeah,
like I mean, I don't know anything about this, but you hear
yeah,
stories and you kind of like and things have come out recently with all the like
yeah,
weird things that go on in like Hollywood and behind the scenes, how
yeah,
people aren't taking it anymore, but like
yeah,
these you feel like it's got to be based on something. Like
yeah.
this
Some
girl
real
is
stuff.
she's trying to make a name for herself, so she
Yeah,
has to like accept things and do
yeah,
things that are a little, sketchy or a little,
yeah,
like it toes the line
yeah.
of,
Toes the line of
her own
yeah
like personal, you know.
relationships and like psyche because yeah, it
Yeah.
goes into like it is a very sketched scene that they're gonna have to film. Which when they came up and like even the conversation too with her, I guess it'll be her handler and her manager
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
like her handler being, I don't think she should do this. Like this is like a super far from what we have like made her name in and stuff. And of
Yeah.
course, manager is like, this is this is what this is kind of like this is part of her big break. Like it's taking on these roles. Like we have to like keep pushing. And of course, Mima was like, hey, I'll do it. This is what I want to do. I want to be an actress. I want to be taken seriously as an actress, and so I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
do it, even though it is crazy and sketchy. And
Well,
it's
like,
like,
oh, I'm sorry, I was gonna interrupt you. You know what I'm saying? we're done talking about
we're
it.
done talking. I would say it did make me think of like when actors actually do have to do those scenes, like
I
how
thought the
are
same
they
thing.
like how are they actually talking about that with the writing staff, with their personal staff? Like how is all that handled?
Or even like having to like actually execute this and actually do
Yeah,
this thing and actually like it's because in this I wrote down this, as an animation,
yeah,
this can go places that reality doesn't have to deal with. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, so they filmed this scene, but it's all animation. This is all
yeah,
cartoon. Nobody's actually doing anything except for the voice actors. The voice actors
yeah,
have to portray some of this kind of stuff, and they're probably watching it, which is disturbing in its own
yeah,
right. But like, like the fact that there are some I've seen certain movies where I can't remember the name of the movie, but like they have to kind of put on this a scene like this that is just
yeah,
so like jarring and so like, and how do you get yourself to that place, and you're playing pretend, but it's also like
yeah.
yikes,
Like
like
how do you prepare for that, and then how do you deal with it after? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, what is the repercussions to your, and this kind of talks about, or kind of like feels that out a little bit. Yeah, I kind of felt like she was really dealing with something in doing this scene, and kind of like letting herself get to that point. And it's just
yeah,
like, yeah, I mean, you see things happen to actors, and you see them like kind of snap a little bit or be
yeah,
kind of weird, because I feel like they kind of lose themselves in their own reality and like what is real
yeah,
and what's not, because they're kind of playing a role and you're kind of pretending, but then what's real and what's not real, and then
yeah.
it just has you question a lot of things. I watched what's that Psycho,
Oh
is
yeah,
there's a they but they made a TV show.
yeah.
They made a TV show, I think on like AMC, or I can't remember what it was on. Did you ever see any of this?
I think I saw like the trailer for the show. I didn't
Dude,
watch it.
okay. So the first episode, it the same this they have a scene that they
Yeah,
do this. And this was like back this is only like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, maybe.
yeah,
But it is disturbing.
yeah,
And I watched the first episode and it made me sick to my stomach.
yeah.
And I just like I couldn't keep going. I
Couldn't
was
do
like,
it
I
again.
can't I can't do this. Like I can't watch
Yeah,
this. Like I can't. And I'm just thinking like the people who shot this, like, but in the middle of them shooting it, they kind of the in the animation in the
yeah,
Perfect Blue, there's the guys like, like, hey, I'm sorry about this. I know this is
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
And they're
Like,
like, there's some, yeah.
yeah, there
He's
he's like, hey, sorry, it's like trying to be he's being considerate of her and her feelings, because he
hmm
knows like this scene is like wild,
weird.
yeah, and weird.
Yeah.
And also like of course the staff too, they have to like call cut, everybody stay, keep your spots, we're gonna move the cameras, all right, go, all right, cut, all right, do it again. Like that whole process of them showing it in anime and like thinking about it in real life, like how often, like when it comes to actual actors shooting like those kinds of scenes, like how willing are they to do multiple takes if needed?
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, like, even I'm thinking even like the animators animating
Yeah,
this. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that's wild, because
Like
it's not like a it's not like a fast scene. It's
No,
like, we see quite a bit of it,
drawn
and it
out. Yeah,
is, yeah, they're drawing the all the parts, and
yeah.
it's
It's like, do they
I'm having
like?
nightmares.
Do they have like? Is it just like a draw of the hat? All right, you who has to do the scene, or is it just like a schedule? Like, hey, this is the movie. These are the scenes. Everybody gets like one scene of this they have to do to kind of spread it out, so not one person has to do it. Or do they have one person do all those scenes? Like,
I don't know, but I would be like, I'd be like, the guy comes home and he's like, "Hey, how was work, honey? Here, I've made stew," and he's like, "Man, I had to do this drawing for today. It was, it messed me up."
I'm about to cut off my own hand.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take this. See this pinky? Take
Go.
that pinky right off, and now it's gone out of my mind. I wrote down, "This is brutal. This
Oh
is
yeah.
brutal." Like I can't. Good grief.
Which I've
I did
seen,
write
like
down something. Oh,
I've
go ahead.
watched like gory movies and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
like watching this movie with those scenes, it's like, and it put it like on a different level from like,
Well, have you ever seen The Hills Have Eyes, like
yeah.
the remake?
Did I
There's
watch
some
it?
scenes
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's the one with, I think maybe Rob Zombie may have directed the new one or something like that. It was like,
I think he did. Yeah,
there's an old school one and he redid
yeah,
it, but there's some scenes in there too that just made me feel sick. Like
yeah,
it just made me feel like not good. Like I felt gross at the end of the movie. I'm just like, ugh, I just like,
yeah. There's one
I got to
movie.
do a mind wash.
Yeah, there's one called Terrifier. Dude, that one is
Hmm.
wild. That one's like,
Is it like that?
dude,
I
it's
heard somebody was telling me
super
about that just
gory.
recently.
Yeah, part
Yeah,
three just
somebody
came
was telling
out.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's what it
yeah,
was. But it's gory for gory's sake, kind of just like
yeah,
being
yeah.
gross, trying to.
It pushes the envelope.
So does this, and man, they do that. Okay, so like after I get past, I'm
Yeah.
watching. I think that's probably like 35, 40 minutes
Which, by the way,
into it. This happens.
time. Did you watch this in the closet?
I did not. I watched it bright lights in broad daylight.
Midday, windows open,
Midday.
everybody can see it.
Yeah, everybody was watching with me. Like good grief, dude. I was, and there's some. I'm glad nobody was home. It was just me watching this. Because if anybody else was listening to this out loud, they'd be like,
Yeah.
"What the heck are you
Can you
watching?"
watch
Like,
it?
I don't know. I'm confused. I watched it out loud, bro. But like it does a really great job. So like yeah, about 35 45 minutes goes into it, and then things start to unravel a little bit and you
Yeah,
go, "Okay, what's going on here?" We've seen this like dark shadowy figure, the
yeah,
guy with the eyes that are practically on the side of his head,
yeah,
and you saw him at the very beginning at the concert.
yeah,
Then you see him like every now and then you see him kind of like peppered in here and there. He's kind of
yeah,
watching Mima, and you don't know what's going on with this guy, but you just know he's like sinister.
yeah.
I'm still a
Yeah.
little confused. I'm not gonna lie, because they start jumping around.
Oh yeah, yeah. At that point, like after that scene, it starts getting into because all the while too, she's still checking that website, the Mima's room. Like she's still going to and look at and like realizing like because at first she thinks it's it's just somebody like pretending to be me or which that happens like I think Dave Chappelle's talked about like somebody on Twitter or having like in a Dave Chappelle account that's acting like him and stuff.
Hmm.
Like you'll have those things. It seems like she's thinking it's like that, but then she starts getting like real like personal and like
Yeah, knows too
following her
much.
like every movement and too much, and it starts like getting to her psychologically. Like, oh, this is like, how does this person, whoever this is, know like everything about me,
Yeah.
about my daily life? And so it starts like breaking her down to the point where she's like being like erratic in some moments. You're like running home, trying to like not be out as much. Uh, but then like it starts to get to where she's like seeing that creepy figure like go in and out, but then she started seeing like her old self from her idol group, like is
Yeah.
like now a part of what she is like being tormented by, because it's like, oh hey, you just like, and it came more prevalent after that, like after that scene of like this is like her past self is like now tormenting who she is right now. It's like, oh, this is not what we are. This is not who you are. You're not you. I'm you. Or and like
Yeah.
it starts breaking into that psychological part of this movie.
Okay, so so that all aside, do you think you have a grasp on what was real and what isn't, and what actually happened and what did? Because like, okay, so
Yeah.
did you watch Inception? Did you watch Inception?
Yeah.
Okay, so Inception has this thing where you're like,
Yeah.
you don't know, and at the
I was, I was
very
I
end,
was looking. I had a little top going right next to me just to make sure.
you better go check on it. It's still
Yeah,
spinning,
checking
bro.
it. Yeah.
It's still spinning. Like I think it just I thought I had a grasp on what actually happened and where we
Yeah.
are in the movie
Kind of where you
and
were
what
going.
was. Yeah, and I kind of think I was like, okay, I think I got a grasp, and then they would flip it again, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dang it, what is actually happening? Because there's a point in there where she like looks at her fish and she had forgot to
Yeah.
feed them and they were dead.
Yeah.
They were all
All
gone. They
dead.
were all like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how they swim, okay? They're
She
not
thought they
doing
were
well.
asleep, just lying down. It's like, oh
Oh,
hey,
they're just taking
they're
a
just
nap.
asleep. Yeah.
Fish get tired of swimming all they can't just
Yeah.
keep swimming, okay? And then she comes back and they're alive, and then I'm just like, okay, I need to I don't want to rewatch it, but I kind of need to rewatch some of it so that I can go, where is my my
Where's
viewpoint?
your
Where are the
yeah.
yeah, what are the things that maybe there's some things that happen in the movie that let me know, okay, this is the actual timeline. This is not a
Yeah.
dream. This isn't a dream. This is a dream. Or she has multiple personalities. Does she or
Yeah.
does she not?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm still a little I'm still not exactly sure what was real and what isn't.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that?
I think so.
I think we have to. We have
So
to.
yeah. So we all start too. So here comes the stalker aspect of this movie.
Okay.
While she's on the set of her first at like her actorial debut, her first set,
Mm-hmm.
they come in with the director and stuff come in with like fan letters and stuff for the I guess the lead of the show, Eri,
Mm-hmm.
and like, oh hey, here's a stack of letters. Like, oh wait, this one's not for you. It was for our mommy. And so he goes over, he hands it to her, she gives it to her manager so she could do the scene. And like right before
Mm-hmm.
she does the scene, he opens it, and it's like a letter bomb almost, basically, because it like just explodes in
Yeah.
his hand. And so everybody's like, oh, is that what happened? What's going on? And then we go into I think after that scene, she gets a fax saying traitor, or because there's also a piece of the note that they zoom in on, and it says, uh, "This was a warning. Next one will be real." And so it seems like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there's somebody like, and they're trying to figure out, oh, was it just in general? Was it for her? You know, and then we start getting into the all the other stuff. Like I said, soccer, the Mima's room of her, like
Mm-hmm.
all these pictures of her and all that stuff, the soccer side. And then slowly but surely, like that the character that we see in the beginning is like showing up. And so I was like, okay, he's got to be the guy. He's the
Yeah.
one doing all the stuff, because I think the first unalived guy was the writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
After that scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
it showed like you see that dude there in the background too while she's shooting that scene. And then we get go on to the next point. Like she's going more into her actor, and then she does a very morale questioning kind of photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then that photographer ends up being
Not
unalive,
alive.
not
Yeah,
alive
yeah.
anymore. And it's just like, what is this dude? Like it's like you're thinking like it's got to be this guy. Like he's got to be the one like taking all these guys out because every time she does something with it's like it's having to do something with her because even after the writer died she's in the car with the manager saying like, you know, hey, I think this has to do with that letter that hurt you. And he even says like, do you think, oh, you're thinking it has to do with that, or it might be connected to that. And so that's where it's leading everybody, leading the viewer to that of like, you know, it's got to be this one guy. And then we get into the most confusing part, which is the pizza scene.
Oh, dude. Oh
Which that
my
was the
gosh.
photographer. So
Yeah. By
the
the way, that pizza place, I want some big body pizza.
it's
Did
a
you see
big
the
body
name of it?
pizza.
I want that big body.
The big
Dude,
body pizza
best pizza place name ever.
ever.
Big body
Nah.
pizza?
Big
Dude,
body,
that's I
all
you
all
know
large, all deep dish.
you kn- you, you know they know good pizza, bro. All
Oh,
right, I don't want no
that
skinny body pizza. I want some big body
that's
pizza.
pure grease dripping off that
Yeah,
cheese right there,
yeah, I'm talking
man.
like, we talking cheese,
Cheese.
tomatoes, cheese, meat, cheese, bread. It's the Big Mac chicken, it's that,
Yeah,
but in a pizza, you know what I'm
and
saying?
a
Like,
pizza all day. But yeah,
dude,
dude,
that
that's
was gory. It was
uh,
crazy. They showed way more than I thought they would.
yeah,
I mean, the guy's got a pick, an ice pick,
yeah. What it's an
or
ice pick.
our suspect, our
Yeah,
person has an ice pick and
yeah,
does some things, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is brutal. Like, and
yeah,
it goes on. It goes on. It's not
yeah,
like a quick thing. Like, they don't allude. Like there are some shows or
yeah,
animations or movies where they just kind of allude to the idea. Like
yeah.
maybe they cut away, and they do not cut away.
Nah,
Once
you're
again,
watching this.
that poor disturbed animator is just like,
Yeah.
here we go again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Drawing my nightmares, just drawing the nightmares. Like it didn't take. It don't. He doesn't have to. Like it takes him. You know how long this is gonna take him to draw? He's got to draw this frame
Yeah,
by frame.
right
What
by
is it?
frame.
Yeah, still drawing it. Still drawing it. Still
Especially
nightmares.
not counting the redraws they're making him do. Like put more blood in this. Oh hey,
Yeah, yeah.
put the pick
You know.
this way instead of this way.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Not to mention all the stuff they cut out of there. Good
Oh yeah,
grief, dude.
dude.
This is when the man tries to send a fax to
Yeah.
911. Not 911
Yeah.
written in his own blood.
All you gotta do is unplug it.
Yeah, ain't sin. It ain't
Send
sin.
it. But yeah, but that because that when they show that because it you see it being her, seeing Mia, and it's like,
Yes.
oh, this is like the totality of this stalker that she's dealing with, of the pressure of switching from an actress
She
from an idol to
snapped.
an actress. Like she's like, yeah, it's like, oh, she's snapped. It's like she's mentally unstable now. Like this is her acting out
Mm-hmm.
because she has no idea how to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But see, okay, so now this is where I'm like, okay, I thought I had it
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, well, it's not our guy.
No.
It's not our guy that's the weirdo.
Yeah.
He could be,
Yeah.
or he has the potential to be like dangerous.
Yeah.
But then we find out that her other handler she's got problems. But then Mima is like waking up and like confused and lost.
Yeah.
Is she just having nightmares? Because then she finds which I guess maybe Rumi is trying to, um, her handler Rumi is trying
Yeah,
to sabotage her, or like
yeah,
or not sabotage her, what's the word? Frame her maybe?
yeah.
Or is that what's happening here? Is that what we're thinking though? Because
That's what it seems like. Because it in the end, because they explain earlier in the movie, Rumi was a former idol herself,
mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm.
and so we get that it kind of leads into the aspect of why she's so protective of Mami, because she's been in that world, she knows what it's like as an idol, and so going on forward with all this stuff happening, um, she even asked her like, "Hey, are you dealing with the stalker?" Like Rumi asked her that, like, "Hey, are you? Is there a stalker that's been like, you
Which,
know?"
by the way, she just like goes to that. Like that's the first.
Yeah,
Is everything okay?
yeah,
Is someone stalking you? Like
yeah.
it just like went from, are you hungry? Are you
Shoot.
dehydrated? Are you getting enough sleep? No, it was like straight from, hey, how's it going? Are you being stalked? That's
Zero
not
to
a
100
question.
real quick, all over this movie,
Real,
man.
just like tipped her hat. She's
Yeah,
like, wait a second, why would you ask that? Because
yeah,
unless you knew.
yeah. But yeah, because this is where it starts flipping back and forth. This is where I was like checking to make sure my player wasn't like being reset, because she would like wake up. It'll be like this scene or something crazy would happen, and then she'll wake up in her bed again, almost in the sun. And
Yeah.
it was like well, probably like what 12, 15 minutes of just that same thing of like her constantly waking up in her bed, not knowing what's real and what's not.
Yeah. And so that's the part that's kind of like, that's where I kind of got a little lost, which I love.
Yeah,
Not I think this is the part where it really kind of like took off for me.
yeah,
I think it was the last maybe 30 minutes of the movie
yeah,
where it was just kind of like the last 25 to 30 minutes where we start to lose, as she starts to lose her own reality,
yeah,
we also are losing a grip on what reality is as well, which I
yeah.
think which is a testament to great writing. I think that's just
Oh yeah,
really like really well done in that part where we're just like, okay, because we see like they've done this too. There's a motif that's kind of like kind of in the background a little bit that happens from the very beginning of the movie where, or yeah, the movie where she's like, we're watching the actors act, but then we end up watching them on a screen act.
yeah,
And so like at the very beginning we see this happening and it's just regular. It's fine because you're like you're watching the scene and then now she's going to be in the scene too, and so we see
yeah,
that. But then it continues and then we start seeing her in a scene,
yeah,
but then something else is happening like that's disturbing. There's somebody
yeah,
else that has been, another victim,
yeah,
and but then it's not real, it's actually a movie because we come out of the screen again, like we're zooming in and out of reality, and they're using the TV for us to kind of like trick us
yeah,
a little bit as to what is actually happening. Is this actually part of the show that she's shooting, or is this reality? And so it's so successful in that part of the execution of the movie. I think it's just like so
yeah,
smartly done in that part.
yeah. Which it's cool because one of those scenes does lead into the ending of this movie, because it's the
Hmm.
scene she's shooting with Eri where she's playing this character who has multiple personality disorders, and
Yeah.
she's saying she's this one person, but she's not, because the person she said she was one that was uh the murderer in the show she was filming. But
Hmm.
that's like that scene right there is giving you basically kind of the ending. Like
Yeah.
the director writer threw it in there to be, and then like to kind of be like, hey, this is your hint. This is what's going on. And
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
happening too because after the pizza scene, so it's like, oh, she is really like breaking down and it's focusing solely on her. But you
Hmm.
find out, fast forward until the end of the movie, it was actually Rumi who was the one who was like killing all these dudes and just like,
But here's the thing. Okay, so here's my only issue
yeah,
with this is that she has this, they have it out at the end.
Yeah,
there's a reveal. Rumi is her handler is,
yeah, the
uh
crazy one.
not well. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
reminded me of Selena.
And
Yeah,
whatever,
uh,
bro. It just
no,
it's
no,
just going.
honestly, halfway through this movie, the way she was acting, like, I
Yeah.
kind of like, I was like, this is giving like Yolanda vibes right now, bro.
Okay, well, like notice this too. The other guy who's the stalker, his eyes are like way far in his head,
Yeah,
like over here, and her eyes also very far apart. You know what I'm saying? Like extra, like almost as if like
yeah.
that's something to
If
be
if your
like.
eyes are on the side of your head, you're not a good person.
Not a good person. Not a good person. Well, cause so okay, so they have this battle at the end. Like she's fighting for her
Yeah,
life, and but the way that Rumi is running
yeah,
from place to place,
mhm,
like after her, she's just kind of
yeah,
floating,
yeah,
making me wonder if she's actually real. Like, is this real? Is
yeah,
this really happening, or is this just my Mima just trying to figure out what is like really happening too? Because she actually looks like her, but she just has the wig on,
yeah,
and so like Mima can't tell who Rumi is and if that's really actually her.
yeah,
And then she knocks the wig off, and then she looks like Rumi, and
yeah.
then I just, you know what I'm saying? Like it makes me question
Yeah, yeah. So during that chase scene, they show in one of the reflections of the windows, Rumi.
her reality. Yeah.
Yeah, her reality, but Rumi's actually like running. It's not the
Like she's
Rumi
not
mommy
floating.
floating. No, I think that
Okay.
was a culmination because she like dressed up like her because she wanted to be who Rumi was in her idol group because
Mm-hmm.
that's what that
Okay.
version of Mimi was her idol version that she
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
changed from. And so Rumi was kind of like her personality disorder was dealing with that of, hey, I'm you, this is the real you who I am, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
be this version of you because this is real you, not who you are in front of me. And so I think that's what that end scene is. It's split in between because Rumi is playing mommy as who she was in the idol group, and that's who we've been
Yeah, yeah.
seeing throughout this movie is her that version of her who's tormenting her because she's changed so much from what she used to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I like
Yeah,
during
because
that
she
fight
even
scene,
okay.
throwing yourself off the roof
Mm-hmm.
is a drastic thing to do.
It's that or be ice picked, Joey. So okay, you gotta pick one. You can
I mean, there's a better way to
the
throw
floor.
yourself off the roof instead of just like launching yourself sideways. Like she
Well,
had
by
no
the way,
landing prepared.
yeah, I mean, what did she land on? What was she wasn't aiming for a trash can. She
Yeah,
wasn't aiming for anything. She was like,
she
"Oh,
just
I'll
jumped.
take my
Honestly,
chances.
yeah.
Maybe I can fly. I don't know. I don't know what reality is, you know." I love the way it's drawn, dude. I love the way, these old school, animes are drawn and the way they kind of move, this kind of like it feels, and I've used this word before and I still haven't even looked up to see if I'm using it correctly, but I don't care. It looks like they're rotoscope. They look like
Yeah,
they're like somebody actually played these parts and they went back and like, redrew over the lines because they're kind of
yeah,
like they move in this way that just feels there feels like there's some reality to it all. Like
yeah,
when she's hanging off the edge and the Rumi is trying to like get at her, it
yeah,
just looks like it looks so violently like it looks so violent
yeah.
and like serious that it feels like, oh gosh, this is like dire, and you really
Oh
feel that.
yeah,
the There's another scene on here that just if you just watched it, it could kind of just go over your head, or yeah, or if you let me tell you, let me see if you picked up on this. I felt like this one scene really like just kind of did it for me. Like I was just like, that is tastefully done. This is yes to this.
was it the
She,
Power Ranger scene at the beginning?
dude, we didn't even
The
we forgot about the
Powertrons
Power
is what they
Rangers.
were called.
Dude,
Powertrons.
I didn't even think about that, dude. I forgot about that part of it. It was no, it was the other one. What was the anime that we did? The other one that where they made fun of
Oh, uh,
power loser power go loser
Go
ranger.
Loser Ranger. Yeah, Go.
That's it. You know, it looked like go loser ranger. It was like the way they were moving.
Yeah,
No, dude, like they're okay, so they're in the near the end of their chase, you know, Rumi is done for practically, and they end up in the street. And Rumi sees she's like falls over in the street and there's a semi truck coming right at her. And but the lights are on her, like
yeah,
flashing, and all you see the lights. And she gets up and she puts her arms out. I'm getting chills just thinking about this. This is
yeah,
like it's so brilliantly done because Rumi wants to be a superstar. She
yeah,
wants to be Mima. She wants to be
yeah,
her. And she has these lights come up, and even though she's like near death
yeah,
and she's she's about to throw in the towel here, she
yeah,
gets up and like she's like she puts her hands up like she's gonna take a bow or
yeah,
like as if these are stage lights, like
yeah.
as if
Stage lights
she's just so like
gone.
obsessed and so gone and so like just she's lost her mind that she's just like she's mistaken this as like her spotlight, like a
Yeah,
spotlight. And I just thought that was brilliant. And then of course Mima comes in and
yeah,
tackles her and saves her life
yeah,
almost. Um, but like that is just, or she does save her life. That is just brilliant. That was like I thought that was just like the coolest scene. I was just like, oh man,
uh,
that's
yeah,
what a great little little touch to
yeah,
what this is all about. It's like the obsession. This
yeah,
movie is about the obsession of idols, like you were talking about. Like
yeah,
this is like you are we as a society have been, and I don't know if I feel like probably here in America we're more
yeah,
so than any, but I wonder about it in Japan too. But like we're obsessed with celebrities. Like
yeah. We become
celebrity
like
obsession
obsessed,
is a real thing.
and then like overly obsessed too, to where it's like, oh hey, yeah,
Y-
they know me. Or when you talk to them, you start like,
yeah,
it's all deals with the human mind of like, oh, they are my friends. I know that person because
yeah,
I follow them on social media. I see all their stuff. I go visit them. I go see them. I get all this stuff. You start becoming like making this false reality in your mind of who they are, of your relationship to them. Like it gets into that with this movie. Like they get into that part of it. It's just like, you know, these are just people who have their own lives, and but there's other people out there who become so obsessed and so immersed in that person and their persona on stage that they
yeah.
forget that, you know, sometimes that's not always that person. That's just what they
It,
put on.
they Yeah, they lose track of the reality and they just think that the persona is that person and that they are
Yeah.
friends, because you are so invested in that person that you just think that if you were to run into them, you're just going to
Yeah.
pick up a conversation because you've had these like your own conversations with
Yeah.
them and you think they're part of your life, but they're
Yeah.
not, and they're just
Yeah.
regular old
Which
people,
going back to the
strangers.
weird dude, because he talks about when he's chasing Mina in that scene, in the other scene,
Hmm.
he talks about, I know you're not the real Mia because I know who she is. She like emails me every
Hmm.
day. But that's just
Hmm.
like, oh hey, this person who has this website of her up is like pretending to be her to these other obsessed fans. And so
Yeah.
becoming making them more like rabid and more crazy and like not set in reality because they're making these false relationship with this false person online.
You think that's Rumi that's like feeding
I think
his.
that's, yeah, when it started going and it started like pointing towards Rumi, like, because Rumi knew kind of, she knows the internet obviously because she explained it to us in like a very
Yeah.
detailed way, and so
Oh, yeah, and she
I
also brushed it
figured, yeah,
aside too.
yeah, she kind of just brushed it aside, and so it feels like, okay, that might have been Rumi like in her false reality of who she thought she is as Mina is like doing that part. And then we move on to like possibly the most confusing ending of this whole thing. of just like,
Yeah.
so Rumi survives. She gets put in a mental hospital because
Hmm.
there's nothing else you can do for her in order to keep everybody else safe and her well is to put her in this hospital. And uh Mina still shows up, just to, I guess, check on her to, because even though like
Why?
this stuff, even though it's a bit crazy, I guess she still has a heart for her, which she sounded like she's just crazy. This could have happened to anybody. And then she leaves, she gets in her car, looks in her mirror, and goes, "I'm the real me." And it's just like, what?
Uh,
So it's kind
what are
of
you
like
talking
confused.
about?
Like we watched that a couple times, so I had to be sure. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Let me make sure they're not trying to pull a fast one. Like Rumi escaped. We're gonna get a part two. No, this is just like I think I more or less I think it's me not finally being like, okay, this is me. I am real. This is reality right now.
No, Joanne. This is the part where you miss. Here's the most confusing thing about the ending. Is she looks in the mirror and she goes, "I'm still me." And
Yeah.
then cut to the credits and the song's like ding 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 ding
So
ding ding.
happy, so good. Like,
It's the most like
oh,
the juxtaposition of like that. I was
yeah.
like, we just watched the most insane anime ever, and they put on
But
like a dance like yeah, I was like, what is happening? Like, no, this is not the song. That's not the
no,
song that ends this movie.
no,
And they pulled it
it
on
can't be.
anyway.
That's the
All
scary
right,
part.
all right, all right, all right, all
Uh,
right. So
all right. Before we get into the facts, real quick, what are umbrellas made of? Because they shouldn't be made of whatever they are.
I'm scared of them, dude. I'm scared. That's why you get the small one. Get the short one
Let's
that has
get
the
the
like the
short one.
blunt end on it.
Yeah,
You can't be jabbed with that. You can't be jabbed with it. Like maybe you get hit by it. That's fine.
yeah. Hit
But
by
that
it. Yeah,
that one that she had,
that had to be the penguin's umbrella, man.
yeah, it's dangerous.
Dangerous, guys. Well, let's get into these real facts, guys. So, this movie was created and was directed by Satoshi Kon, who is a director of Paprika. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I'm pretty sure you've seen the cover of the girl with like the multicolored scenes, like her on her face.
Yeah. So that
He
was on
directed
the
that. Yeah,
that was on my my synopsis. That was
yeah,
what it like credited to him
yeah.
was Paprika. That was the other one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Perfect Blue. This was his. This was like his directorial debut. Like he's worked
Okay.
on other animes and other stuff, but as like a character designer or like an artist or something like that. But this was like his first time directing. Was this movie? And then of course we got in the opening scenes, Madhouse Production Companies, the one who animated this, which they done a bunch. They have a whole list of cool stuff they've been doing and done, and so props to them
It looks
on this
good. It
animation,
looks good.
looking good. Um, so this one actually has probably, I would say, kind of two release dates, because after everything was done and ready to go, they actually released it at the Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal, Canada, on August 5th of 1997. So the first time anybody outside the staff and the animators who saw this movie was at a film festival, and then it actually got released theatrically in Japan on February 28th, 1998. So about a good about 4 or 5 months later, it got released into theaters in Japan.
So you're telling me that nobody was indicted? There wasn't like these guys aren't in jail somewhere who wrote and drew. You
Obviously
know?
not, because this came up before Paprika. He was still able to make that movie.
Dang,
Oh,
dude.
but so that was the director. So the screenplay, the writing was done by Sadayuki Munai, and so him and the director kind of worked on the actual like screenplay and story of this movie. But it is loosely based on a novel called Perfect Blue: Complete Metamorphosis by Yoshikazu Takeuchi. So this is kind of loosely based on a novel that came out a while back.
Is that why it's called Perfect Blue? It's kind of based off of this. Because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
watching. I was like, what does this even mean? Perfect Blue. I don't.
Yeah. So Perfect Blue: Complete Metamorphosis. And so like that was the idea of this movie. Where it came from was from the novel, and so the whole beginning part of this, when they were coming up with it, when they actually approached Kong to do this movie to direct it, the whole first idea was kind of like a splatter, psycho thriller about an idol who is kind of I don't know, unalived or attacked by a rabid stalker. Yeah, it was like kind of like it seemed like it was gonna be more gory, more
Mm-hmm.
type stuff. Um, but Colin like going through the writing, going through the first part of it, he kind of didn't want. He wanted to kind of take it a different route, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And because at first this was kind of gonna be because at first all in all the original with the original author and stuff, when it's come time to like bring this out in like a visual media, I think they wanted to do a live action of it, but I don't think budgeting. Yeah. But
Hard
due to
pass.
like
Hard pass.
time and like budgeting difficulties and stuff, they were just gonna they changed it to an animation, so it's gonna be kind of like a shorter form thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and then it got then Colin received it kind of as that's when he came onto it as the director of it. And then he was coming up, going through it, looking at it, and then he kind of, still had in his mind he kind of wanted to take a different route. So he was talking to the original author of it. It's like, hey, I kind of have different ideas of kind of how I want this actually to be, and we can kind of make it into like a movie aspect. And so the author kind of like, all right, he's like, all right, like you can kind of make changes as you need to. The only thing he asked Colin to do was to keep the idea of the main character being a B grade idol, uh, who was uh, who has a rabid stalker, and it has to say a horror film or have horror aspects to it. So those are like the three
Mm-hmm.
things. And so Colin took it, got with the writer Manui, and they kind of went back and forth on and came up with what we have, which is the Perfect Blue movie.
It's a psychological thriller. That's where I would say
Yeah,
it's a psychological. In my mind, it's a
yeah,
psychological
very
thriller.
psychological thriller.
What
Yeah.
is this rated?
Uh,
T- TVMA.
I didn't
It's
even really
like
look. I was just trying to find where to watch
it's got to
it.
be whatever that is. Whatever like this
Yeah,
because I feel like it's above rated R. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, there's like rated R movies and then there's this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some like
yeah,
there's choice language and like nudity and then there's this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
yeah,
for an animation, like
yeah.
it
It's
is
up there. It is rough.
it's rough. It's
Um,
rough.
but yeah, I mean that's pretty much like the base of it. Is like he kind of wanted to like take a different route, I guess, from what the original source material was, and so it was kind of more of a play of so going with the keep since that was the things of making it a be great idol with the stalker. He kind of threw in, okay, let me throw in the aspects of what an idol is and like what the basically like more or less what the fans are and can become. Like
Yeah.
he looked at that community, that part of society who follows idols, and kind of took bits and pieces of that because there's our story. You can find stories of stalkers and stuff for idols, and some of them gone way out of the way. Some of them done some real crazy stuff. So he kind of gathered all that and put it and laced it out into like the stalker side of this movie. This is kind of like, which gives, like I said, gives it that real world aspect of it, because
Yeah.
this is stuff that happens and still happens today for idols, for any kind of celebrities.
All right. Joel, I'll be very disappointed if you tell me there's a video game. There better not be a video game of this movie.
There is no video game.
Okay, good. As there should not be.
It should not be. Now, the only thing is just, like I said, it started out, it was going to be a live action, but they're like, nah.
Nah, dog.
Nah, dog.
Because they were probably thinking, like, if we make this into a live action, this might actually happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Like, it's like, what's that one book they took out? Was it... Oh my gosh. It's the one that dude read who unalived John Lennon.
oh yeah. Oh,
Wasn't it because he
gosh,
said he read
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye? Was it Catcher in the Rye?
Catch 22.
I can't remember.
Dude, I don't
It's
remember
kind of
which
like
one
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something by J.D. Salinger or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know, man. Like this, are we ready to walk talk this or what?
Yeah. I think we've been quite
I mean, we've been guac talking it. I think we already know. It's eesh, oof, magoof. It's like this this is one of those movies where like I appreciate a lot of it because it feels so like grounded in reality, and then also not like, because there are a lot of things that really, this isn't too far-fetched, like it's not terribly far-fetched for this kind of stuff to actually happen, which makes it scarier, like I think we talked about that earlier. It's just like it feels, there's that movie, is it called Strangers, where they're in the country, and these just random people just show up to their house and like are trying to invade the house.
Yeah.
But it feels that this is what that feels like. It feels like this is so like, it's so real. It also, but the other thing too is just like it's also really well done. It's also really well written. It's also like just really well thought out.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't, I always feel like a mark of a good movie or TV show is that they have some twists and turns, and I don't know what the ending is. Like I couldn't predict where this was going. I found myself kind of intrigued and wanting to like, figure it out. So, it does a lot of that really well. I don't know, did you see what the general public like what the rating was for this, or like if this got like,
not really. There's a lot of reviews on it. If you go on YouTube, you can watch a lot of reviews like talking about everything in this movie, like the psychological aspect of it, the stalker aspect. Like people have gone into like detail about like talking about certain parts of this movie and the ideas of this movie. And so, but like I said, it is like one of those movies that makes you think about how scary society can actually get.
Yeah, and this is like 98, 97, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know how many years ago that was.
Don't say it, because then you're gonna feel it.
Yeah. Let me check my back. How old is this movie?
How old is this movie?
I tell you this much, I want some of that big body pizza. It's about dinner time, so I want that big body pizza. So like, and How many slices are in a pizza? Like, let's see, like 8
Let's see. Big
slices.
body. Oh, big body's gonna
A bit.
be. It's gonna be 6 big slices, extra wide.
The wide, big old, one bite. I'm
One
talking
bite.
like David Portnoy, like um from 1 to 6 slices of pizza, big body pizzas. I'm giving this thing like, oh gosh, it's such a hard thing to rate actually. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I can't even, because I
'Cause-
want to give it a good rating, but I
yeah.
don't think I could recommend it to anybody. I'm not
Nah.
gonna watch it again. This is a single time watch. It
Yeah.
is really good, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
I would.
I'll give it.
Yeah.
I'll give it 4.5. I'll give it four and a
Yeah.
half to 5.
Go solely off a horror psychological thriller. I'll give it
Yeah,
a 4 out of 5 because it is
yeah.
like I said, it is like crazy and scary, and it hits all those topics that it breaks up, and it's kind of well done in that aspect because it does leave the viewer like
Yeah,
confused and like, oh snap, what's going on? What's
yeah.
this? What's that? Like it has like those good qualities of a good psychological thriller,
But
but
can
it
I
is
tell
so
somebody
brutal.
else it's brutal? You know what I'm saying? Like I just
Unless somebody else brings it up, then you can talk about it.
I ain't gonna. Yeah, I don't want to just willingly just tell people about that I watched this movie. But if you ask me about it,
But if
then
you ask me
maybe I
about
might
it,
say something. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we might talk about it. Nah, you know what? I need like a
no,
mind
if you want to
wash. I
know what to
need
think about
to.
this movie, go watch our podcast. How about that?
Yeah, don't watch it. Just watch us watch it,
Yeah,
and let us have nightmares about it. You'll be fine.
yeah, you'll be good.
You'll be real good.
Oh man, well guys, t- we ended spooky season on a wild one, man. Crazy and so
Can't believe you.
crazy.
They did this to us. They did this to
They
us.
did this to us. I like I said, I heard it was good. I heard it was like it's always up there in the list for horror and psychological. It's like, all right, this is up there. It's got to be good. It None of that could prepare me for what we watch. But you know
You know
what
what
can
else they
prepare
could?
you for that? This podcast, guys, Anime Podcast,
That's
where you can go on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, all of our stuff. You can even go to our own website, anime-me.com, where you can find our episodes. You can find the links to all our podcast hosts and our socials, and where you can also buy your own Anime Me pod shirt. Boom, boom, boom! Just in time for the holidays. They're coming up, guys. You want to get those
yeah,
orders
boy.
in? Yeah, boy. And also where you can leave comments, leave recommendations on other anime you want us to watch. Like I said, there's a lot of scary anime, so if you want something for next spooky season, send them in so we can get those lined up. Or if there's any other anime recommendations you want us to watch, we covered Dandadan last week, guys, and that's a brand new one. We're always looking for
Ooh,
new ones. Which that
I'm
one's
still
been so
watching it.
good. God, I'm. It sucks because, like I said, I caught up to the manga, and luckily the manga comes out weekly, but still it's like the longest 7 days ever, man.
It really is. It's taking forever.
Like I'm reading Komi, I'm still reading Zom 100, still reading Kaiju number 8. Now I got Dandadan on the road, but they all come out separately on different times. I, Zom 100 is monthly. I think Kaiju is like every 2 weeks. Komi comes out pretty quick, and Dandadan's weekly. So it's like when I get caught up on everything, it's like I got nothing to read.
You have to start writing your own stuff, dude.
I had to start writing my own stuff, guys. And what else can write? And speaking of writing, you can also write a review on this podcast to let everybody know. Let us know what you think. Let the algorithms know what you think. Let us know we're good so they can push this to other people who want to watch anime. And also you could recommend this to your friends and families. If you got people you want to introduce in anime that aren't really into it, give them our podcast, give them our link, let them know, hey, here's these guys. They teach you about anime, how to watch it, what to watch, which ones they watch. And if there's an anime that we have covered, give them that episode so they can watch that as well. And also give us those 5 stars as well, guys. Well, with all that being said, this is real, guys. We are real. This is reality. We're not dreaming. Everything's real.
I do not have multiple personalities,
No
but
multiple
maybe
personalities. Maybe. Maybe
I got a
after
morning.
this.
I got a morning person, and I got the person right now. Two different people.
I got personality. I got voices for who I'm on the phone with.
Yeah. Hello. This is Joe Angel.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I've been Dreidel with my co-host Sal, and we will see you on the next one. Laters.
Peace.
これはアニメミーでした。これから帰国の旅を始めます。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, 3 out of 7, 3 out of 10,
3 out of
3 out of
7.
15. What are we talking?
I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
3 out
What's
of
it called?
10. Oh, that's low. That's actually that's failing, bro.
I
I mean,
I'd rather have the Big Mac. I get because I mean
it's
it's like
2
it's the one. I don't know if it's just the one I had, the one they gave me. But it was like 2 of the thinnest chicken patties you could have.
I
It
mean,
is-
yeah, I mean, that's wild. 2 pieces of chicken and then 3 pieces of bread.
yeah.
What are we doing here? What are
Like,
we?
and then I don't
what?
know if they like oversauced the bottom one because the bottom one just kept sliding off the rest of it, so I just took it off. It came out. I just ate the chicken patties. I was like, I'm not dealing with this right now.
Why? Well, who asked for this? Nobody wants this.
Nobody asked for this.
Nobody asked for that. I was like, you know what I need? I need more bread
I need more bread. You know what?
and
I've
less
been
chicken.
double stacking my McChickens, but I want Big Mac sauce on it.
Yeah, I could do it myself,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do it myself.
But I don't want to do it.
Oh, snap. You know what? Like, I know that Elon Musk is trying to go to Mars.
Yeah.
I'm a volunteer. I'm going to Mars, bro. I'm out of
Yeah.
here. You know what?
If he's
I'm
making
done with
iRobot
this.
on Earth, send me to Mars, Elon.
Dude, I'm going to Earth. I'm going to Mars. I'm done with Earth.
Done with it.
Dude, then iRobots though, it's for real. I thought it was like a joke for a second, and then I like
Yeah.
watched a video of them walking
It-
around. And I was like,
It seems like a joke because they did like the comparisons from iRobot to all the stuff he revealed. I'm like, he's got to be joking, man. I mean, come on.
yeah, dude, he's watching movies and he's just like,
Yeah.
let's try to do that. Let's try
Let's
to
try
do
to
that.
come up
Like,
with this. Like,
he's over there trying to like make an actual like time travel machine. Probably, I bet you he's really working on it. He's like, I
Probably.
saw this documentary about Michael J. Fox going back in time. He thought it was real. He's like, gotta get on that.
What was that? There's another kind of time travel movie with Aubrey Plaza. As in instructions not included. Like the whole premise is this guy
Yeah.
who put out an ad in the paper for a time machine.
No, I've seen it. Yeah. It's the Duplass brothers. Duplass. Yeah. I watched it.
French
It's
name.
called Safety Not Guaranteed.
Safety not guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it. I mean, like,
You don't saw that
there's
movie.
some.
It was all like, you know what? I could do it better.
I think you can make it actually happen. You just you need 1.1 gigawatts,
Gigabytes.
88 miles per hour.
I watched some other video though. It was Ninja's Birdflies. They were talking about time travel. Because they had saw something else that somebody was kind of explaining. Like part of time travel is also knowing like destinations, like your geography, or using because like you can go back in time, but you also have to set like a destination, like a pinpoint, because since like technically the solar system is moving throughout time as well, it's not really staying in the same place. Like you have to like put the time in and then put where it was at the universe at that point in time.
They
'Cause,
stole
like, you
that
could-
from
if
Indiana
somebody did
Jones,
it-
bro. That's
Yeah, somebody did it, then he just ended up somewhere else in space and like probably
yeah, because you're here and then you
Yeah.
travel through time as the Earth spins and you end
Yeah.
up here. Then you're on a different side.
yeah
And I think we're like kind of moving a little bit too, like
yeah because
off axis or.
I think there is an actual like story about a guy who was trying to time travel. It meant like this capsule, and like he's like disappeared. But there's an article from somewhere back in like I think the 70s or something. I can't remember the time frame, but it's way back in the day about them
Yeah.
finding a man in, I think, the bottom of a river in like a metal tube. But he looked. It was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was before cell phones were invented, because they said they
Mm-hmm.
found this device. But if you look at the pictures and stuff, it looks like a phone. So it's like he probably done it, but he didn't know about that part needing to be at that certain point to survive. So
Dude, that's on the new update of the iPhone. There's the time travel. You just have to set the new iPhone
is that what the
update.
AI is? The AI is time
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna get that new phone. It's on the new that's the new AI part of the that they haven't even released yet.
I
They're
haven't even
overselling
read.
phones. It ain't even in there yet. Like they ain't,
Isn't it
man.
like sometime
Hey,
next month or something?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. But we don't they're still working on the time travel part of it. They're like there's all kinds of old school videos. Like there's like an old Charlie Chaplin film, I think. It's like a black and white film, and you see a guy, he's walking around in a black and white film, like looks like he's on a phone. Have you seen that one where he looks like he's on the phone, like walking around?
Are you talking about
Uh,
the chick at the like it's a group of three girls and one of them looks like she's holding the phone. It's another
there's
black
that
and
one
white
too.
thing.
Yeah, there's
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 what
several
the
of these.
isn't there like a Mike Tyson fight where you see somebody in the crowd who looks like he's holding like
Like a
like an
tiny.
iPhone or like some
Oh
like
man.
camera that they didn't have then.
Maybe I mean like there's so many of these. There's one that there's like
There's
I
that
wish I
hipster
could.
from the old photos.
There's also the there's like 10 experiences of like or proof of time travel or something like that. I read some article about it and there's a
Yeah,
guy. It just makes for great storytelling. This guy's in like Ireland or something like that.
yeah,
And he opens up his underneath his sink and he's like working on his sink or something like trying to fix it
yeah,
and he like ends up like going through the bottom of the sink like to a portal to another to a
yeah,
through a tunnel. He goes through this tunnel, he comes out, and he runs into himself at a different time. They both have the
yeah.
same tattoo. He takes a picture with himself with the tattoo, and he's like one of them is older than the other, and then he's like goes back
I,
and he has the
I
picture on
think I've
his phone.
seen that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I've seen something.
It's but
Did you see the one
come
about
on, like
about the guy going in his shed and coming out older,
no, I hadn't seen
or
that one.
going? He's an older guy who I can't remember if he was young and came out old or old and came out young, but it was a recent one.